History of the Dark Age, Season 3, Episode 8. The Ashen Forge. Prologue. The Calculus of War. The cost of the Battle of the Sundered Threads was not measured in corpses alone, but in certainty. The bastion of Aether-Zarr, once a symbol of reclaimed dawn, was now a clinic and an armory. The shadows were gone, but the fear they bred remained, a poison in the well of alliance. In the war room, the map was no longer one of trade routes and hunting charters, but of potential fronts, loyalties, and resources. The time for feasts was over. The time for forging armies had begun. Chapter 1. Council of Ember and Tide Location. The volcanic commandery of House Vehlon, the Ember Spire. Terrain. The war room is carved into the living rock of an active volcano. Geothermal vents channel heat and light, and the air smells of sulfur and hot metal. A massive table of obsidian glass displays a glowing map of the region. The key commanders convened, their armor still bearing the soot and salt of the recent fight. Commander-in-Chief, Lady Evelyne Vehlon, the Ember Duchess. Armor, masterwork, ignium plate. Forged from enchanted obsidian alloyed with phoenix iron, it is surprisingly light and constantly radiates a low heat. Its surface is etched with runes that can be charged to unleash a concussive wave of thermal energy. Blade, Cinder's Kiss. A longsword of the same phoenix iron, its edge kept perpetually white hot. It leaves cauterized wounds and can ignite flammable materials on contact. Command style, decisive, aggressive, favoring overwhelming force and decisive strikes. She is the Hammer. Allied Commander, Lord Thaleos Vehlon, heir of the Drowned Court. Armor, abyssal carapace, fashioned from the magically treated chitin of deep-sea krakens and layered with coral steel, a bioluminescent alloy that hardens on impact. It drips with constant cool moisture and is utterly silent in motion. Blade, Tide Wrath, a wave-bladed falchion that seems to be made of swirling, solidified water. It channels hydrokinetic force, capable of striking with the pressure of the deep ocean or deflecting projectiles with a wall of mist. Command style, strategic, patient, and adaptive. He is the tide that erodes the foundation before the wave hits. He commands the naval might, their forces, Vehlon Ember Guard, heavy infantry, veterans clad in lesser ignium mail, wielding heat-forged axes and tower shields that can interlock to form a blazing phalanx wall, the Ember Wall. Vehlon Tider Evers, marine infantry, agile fighters in brine-scale armor, overlapping plates resembling fish scales. They wield barbed tridents and nets, experts at boarding actions and fighting in difficult wet terrain. Ash Rider Cavalry, Vehlon, light cavalry mounted on salamanders, reptilian beasts resistant to fire and capable of short bursts of speed across hot terrain. Riders are armed with javelins that explode on impact. Vehlon wave crawlers, siege shunt special. Massive spiked tortoiseshell rams mounted on enchanted floating barges used for breaching coastal fortifications. The situation. Their alliance is strong but untested in prolonged campaign. Their strength is concentrated around the Vein coast, but must be projected inland. Their primary weakness, supply lines. Vehlon forges are powerful but require constant fuel. Vehlon's fleets are mighty but useless away from water. The resolution. They agree to a two-pronged strategy. Evelyne will march to secure the Emberwood, a forest of slow-burning ironwood trees crucial for her forges and a known staging ground for Veilborn cultists. Thaleos will take his fleet to besiege the Salt-Spire, a coastal fortress that has declared for the Weaver's Testament, cutting off Viserion's potential naval support and freeing the loyalist house Crate held hostage within its walls. Chapter 2. The Blackwater Mustering Location. The ruins of Viserion, a fallen star metal citadel in the shattered wastes. Terrain, a desolate plateau of black glass and twisted metal. The air crackles with static energy, and strange geomagnetic storms disrupt compasses and disorient the unacclimated. Here the opposition gathers, not as a traditional army, but as a confluence of shadows and scorned ambition. The strategist, Viserion, the warlord of manticores. Armor, Nixite shard plate. Forged from the remnants of the fallen star, it is a dark, crystalline armor that seems to drink the light around it. It is incredibly resilient and can dissipate magical energy. Blade, Void Cleaver, the star iron greatsword. It doesn't glow. It creates a void around its edge, shearing through magic and matter with equal ease. It is cold to the touch and silent in its cuts. Command style, unconventional and psychological. He does not seek to meet strength with strength, but to exploit weakness, shatter morale, and break alliances before the main battle is joined. He is the Scalpel, the fanatic, Septon Marin's successor, a High Inquisitor of the Veilborn. Armor, robes of the unseen, not metal, but woven shadow stuff that bleeds into the surroundings, making the wearer difficult to focus on. It offers little physical protection, but is highly resistant to magical attacks. Tool, the Severing Bell, a handheld silent bell that, when rung, doesn't create sound but severs minor enchantments and disrupts concentration. Command style, zealous and sacrificial. He commands the cultists and fanatics, using them as disposable shock troops and saboteurs. Their forces, Veilborn zealots, light infantry, swarming, poorly equipped fighters armed with obsidian shard knives, and a fanatical disregard for their own lives. Their strength is their numbers and unpredictability. Umbral Stalkers, Special ta Elite. Assassins clad in perfected shadow weave cloaks that grant near invisibility in low light. They are hunters of officers and mages, armed with daggers coated in a neurotoxin that induces paralyzing fear. Viserion's Manticore Guard, Shock Cavalry, a small elite unit of warriors who have tamed and ridden lesser manticores, smaller, less intelligent variants of Viserion's mount. They are flying terror weapons used to break formations and hunt down fleeing troops. The Broken, monsters, twisted creatures pulled from the hollow sanctum or bound from the wastes, shambling, corrosive ash ghouls, and silent spectral gloomweavers that drain hope and warmth. They are not commanded, merely unleashed. The situation. Viserion's strength is mobility, terror, and subversion. His weakness is a lack of traditional supply lines. His forces live off the land and pillage. He cannot win a protracted war of attrition against a united front. His strategy is to force a series of devastating, demoralizing defeats that cause the alliance to crumble from within. The plan. While the alliance moves to secure resources, Viserion will strike at the heart of their legitimacy. His target, the bastion markets of the charred spires, not to conquer them, but to discredit the ruling houses by demonstrating their inability to protect the very commerce they promise to safeguard. He will use stalkers to sabotage, zealots to riot, and his manticores to burn merchant convoys, creating a crisis of confidence. Chapter 3. The Ironwood Negotiations Location. The Edge of the Emberwood, Day 4 of Evelyne's March. Terrain. A transition from volcanic plains to a dense, haunting forest where the trees smolder without burning, filling the air with a perpetual smoky twilight. The situation. Evelyne's scouts report that the local Ironwood clan, a group of neutral foresters and hunters, are being coerced by Veilborn forces to provide them shelter and supplies. The Veilborn hold the clan elders' grandchildren hostage within a fortified grove. Negotiation and resolution. Evelyne cannot assault the grove directly without the hostages being killed. Instead of a full attack, she employs a specialized unit, the Cinder Weavers, Vehlon scouts equipped with heat-dampening cloaks and climbing gear, made from thermally resistant spider silk. Under cover of the forest's natural smoke, the Cinder Weavers infiltrate the grove, silently eliminating Veilborn sentries. Meanwhile, Evelyne parleys with the clan elder at the forest's edge, a distraction. Her terms are simple. Side with us, and we free your family. Continue to resist, and you will be considered an enemy. The parley is tense, filled with veiled threats and desperate pleas. As the elder is about to refuse, a signal flare, a single green spark, lights the smoky sky. The Cinder Weavers had succeeded. The hostages were safe. The negotiation ended not with a signed treaty, but with a nod. The Ironwood clan turned on their captors, and the Emberwood was secured not just by force, but by a calculated act of mercy and precision. Evelyne gained not only a crucial resource, but a loyal, if wary, ally. Chapter 4. The Salt-Spire blockade location, the Bay of Whispers, Day 7 of Thaleos' naval campaign. Terrain, choppy, cold waters riddled with half-submerged rocks and treacherous currents. The Salt-Spire itself is a slender fortress of white stone, built on a massive sea stack, connected to the mainland by a single, narrow causeway. The situation. The fortress is well provisioned for a siege. A direct assault on the causeway would be a slaughter. The Vehlon fleet, while powerful, cannot get their wave crawlers close enough without being bombarded by catapults on the high walls. Strategy and resolution. Thaleos does not attack the walls. He attacks the foundation. His Tide Reavers, using their knowledge of the tides and currents, dive beneath the waves to locate the fortress's underwater freshwater aquifers. Using alchemical charges provided by House Dravain, brine fire, a substance that burns even underwater, they collapse the tunnels, flooding the Salt-Spire's primary water reserve. Simultaneously, his ships maintain a relentless rotating barrage on the causeway, with ballistae, preventing any sorties or supply runs from the mainland. He offers terms not to the fortress commander, but to the soldiers within, using loud hailers made from enchanted conch shells. You fight for a dead Septon's dream. We offer water and survival. Surrender the Veilborn commanders, and you will be spared. After 3 days of thirst and despair, the garrison mutinies. The Veilborn commanders are thrown from the walls into the sea below. The gates open. Thaleos secures the fortress, liberates the imprisoned House Crate, and gains a vital naval base without losing a single soldier in melee. It is a masterclass in naval siegecraft and psychological warfare. The stage is now set. The armies are defined, their commanders tested, their strategies laid bare. The next clash will not be a skirmish in a courtyard, but a calculated large-scale engagement where terrain, unit composition, and the will of the commanders will decide the fate of the dawn.